Hello, thieves, assassins, and rogues of ambiguous gender. Welcome to a little bit of a different style of content for a YouTube video, at least. Haven't uploaded in a while. I've been uploading more on TikTok as of recent. The style of content that I'm currently doing on YouTube isn't exactly what I want to do. It will be still coming, but my setup is astronomically scuffed. And I would prefer maybe to do some more short form content. In the meantime, I'm going to do sort of an extended version of a video that I did on my TikTok of some work stories. Some work stories with maybe some weird stuff that happened or some shitty people that I worked with. Alright, so we're kind of gonna go in chronological order in the places that I worked at. For context, I worked at this first place for just about 2 years. So, number one. Story number one is about a manager that I used to have. We're just gonna name him D. And, D was, a dick. He was just an egotistical, narcissistic, habitual liar who told fake stories about his life to make himself seem badass and to inflate his own ego. And we don't like that here. We do not stand that sort of behavior. Nonetheless, he was one of the managers. He worked there for about 3 years. And, he would just act hard, for lack of a better term, but he was like 6'4" and a twig. But you wanna know how he got fired? He got fired for threatening another employee with a knife on camera, on the main kitchen security camera, like a dumbass. Can't believe that. Fun fact, this guy was so bad that his nickname for the last 3 or 4 months that he worked there was, or at least my nickname for him, was, Rat Bastard. Yeah, he was that bad. Here's another manager from the first place. We'll call him K. Last I know that this guy is still there, and this is a preemptive fuck you to that guy. Because you're an asshole, man. I doubt you're watching this, but fuck you nonetheless. Anyway, K was another sort of kind of uppity guy. He really just thought he was all that in a bag of chips. I never really had a problem with him personally, but, more in the case of, one-on-one. But I did have a work child at the time. She was really, really small. She was, 15. And really none of the managers were really in her corner at all, except for me, because I was a manager at the time. And she would get tormented specifically by this guy, who, keep in mind, is more than double her age. He was 31. 31 when I started working there. And he was bullying the fuck out of a 15-year-old. Now, this guy, not only did he make her cry multiple times, he made a joke about it at me after one of them. He said, I believe this is the quote, "Has anybody ever made you cry at work? 'Cause you might be next." I'm like, no. Well, yes, but not you. I did not like that. I did not like that he said that and was like antagonizing this tiny person who was literally not allowed to drive on her own yet. I don't know what the animosity was there. And I caught on one day when she texted me that it happened again, it made her cry. I caught on that he was only doing it when I wasn't there because he knew that I would call him out on his bullshit. And yeah, Kay, like I said, again, if you're watching this, man, fuck you, you're an asshole. Does it make you feel big bullying a child? Fuck him. Now for the first sort of event story. At this place, this guy, he'd ordered a whole bunch of food. Like $50, $60 worth of food. And I believe he was going to have it delivered. But we were super busy, and it was taking a while. So he called, and then he asked for the order to be voided. Meanwhile, keep in mind, we had just gotten the food done, and we're in the middle of loading it into the delivery bag. And he said, no, I don't want it anymore, just void it. And I believe he utilized a number of expletives over the phone. So, we had this dilemma that one of the managers at the time, not one of the bad ones, he was an interesting one, but he wasn't like a bad one, you know? I still like that guy, although he is a little crazy. So, we knew, or at least he knew, I didn't know at the time, this is my first time ever running into something like this. He knew that the owner would not approve of us taking the food and would want us to just throw it away. But again, this was $50 or $60 worth of perfectly good food that we couldn't really reutilize, or maybe we could have, I don't know. I was 17. I don't remember it much. So we took his food. We took it because he didn't pay for it, he voided the order, and all the food was ready. I took home, I swear to God, it was like 50 wings. 50, like, bone-in wings tossed in sweet chili sauce, and it was the best. And the other one is of, I didn't witness this one, but this is the only bar fight I ever heard about. Because this place that I was working at was not only a pizza place, it was a full bar with a liquor license. So people were getting crazy in there. Now, there were two guys up at the bar. One guy was an asshole, and the other one was, like, really nice, and everyone liked him. Now, this asshole guy said something, and I was told what he said, and it was fucked up. He told this guy something, and the nice guy gets up, no words, and just decks him in the fucking face. And there were stairs leading up to the bar. He goes down the stairs and hits his head on the back of a table, on the corner of a table, busts his head open, and he's bleeding all over the floor. I wasn't there for this, but I heard about it the day after. I was like, dear God, why did I miss this? This is insane. Now for the more recent place that I've worked at for, it's been a year now. Just around this time last year that I started working there. First off, there was a guy who tried to do a dine and dash. And it was very silly. He got caught red-handed. And let me explain. So this guy comes in with his wife to sit down and order some food, right? Have a nice time, or at least you'd think. So they get their food. Well, they get their food. They eat a little bit of it. We find this out later. They eat a little bit of it. They ask for to-go containers. And they get their to-go containers. And then they try to leave without paying. So what I think went down was the wife tried to leave first. And the husband tried to leave after with the to-go containers and the bag that they were in. But the managers caught him. And you will not believe how the managers knew to catch this guy. Because it is way too coincidental. So they caught him, they sat him down, they talked to him, and they called the cops. The cops showed up, and there was a lot of talking. They took him outside. 2 of my coworkers were outside in their car, on their break, and they told me that when him and just the cops were out there, he threw himself on the ground in the parking lot, having a temper tantrum like a goddamn toddler. And keep in mind, this man is like 40, like early 40s. Definitely not a toddler, at least physically. Now, he gets fined, and he had to pay his dues by 9 p.m. that night. Now, I don't know if he ever did that. I can only assume he did. But what's really crazy is that how the managers knew to catch this guy. Because he did the same thing successfully 2 months prior. At the same table. With the same waitress. Why did you think that was a good idea? Obviously, don't dine and dash, but if you are, don't go to the same place twice ever. But the real special part was what was in the to-go containers. So, he had 3. Number 1, we opened it up. Inside was a steak and a potato and I think some onions or something. I don't quite remember. In the second one was bread, the free bread. And in the third bag was another most of a steak and mashed potatoes and I think it was mushrooms. But here's the special thing. They were still in the bowls. They were still in the bowls that the sides came in. They tried to take the dishes. The other story that I'm really going to tell about the place I currently work is that when I was orientating, is that the right word? When I was doing my orientation, it was sort of a group orientation kind of thing. They had 3 people. Me and then 2 guys whose names start with S. And one of them lasted 3 weeks. The other one walked out after a month. And I'm still here a year later, and I still like it. I'm still planning on being here for a while. I quite enjoy what I do. So, Rogues Gallery, thank you for watching. I usually don't ask this, but if you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe. I'm not going to pressure anything. And have a great day and tip your server.